Look what's become of your son, mother. How you doing, movie lovers? My name is Ryan. This is Down to Business Reviews. This week for Movie Club, we watched Zoolander, directed by and starring Ben Stiller, as well as Owen Wilson, Will Ferrell, and Christine Taylor. Zoolander is a 2001 comedy starring Ben Stiller about a really ridiculously good-looking but dim-witted male model who gets brainwashed into becoming an assassin. Where to begin? Zoolander. Everyone has seen Zoolander. The thing that makes this film great in the broad sense is that it is infinitely quotable. I hadn't seen this film in years, but I was still able to recite, all the jokes and punchlines verbatim, and for whatever reason, those jokes and punchlines are still funny. I think maybe part of it is that this is one of the last comedies before the post-9/11 era that doesn't have any, ingrained cynicism attached to it. The film has an innocence to it that maybe triggers a sort of nostalgia in people, including myself. Even though the film was released in the early 2000s, it still has that feel of one of the last vestiges of late 90s comedies, which makes sense because that's when Ben Stiller got his start in comedy, was during the 90s. Zoolander feels like it would fit in just perfectly with a marathon of Austin Powers, Zoolander, and then like an Adam Sandler film, like a late 90s one, like Big Daddy. It brings me right back to feeling 15 and not having a care in the world. There's also a lot of talent in this film. Ben Stiller stars in as well as directs the film. Owen Wilson stars as Zoolander's frenemy Hansel, who's a rival male model. Will Ferrell is a fashion mogul named Jacobin Mugatu. Jerry Stiller, Jon Voight, Milla Jovovich, even David Bowie makes a cameo. There's a lot of people in this movie. You'd think with so many appearances it would be overload, but for whatever reason, it works. So this brings us to my likes and gripes with Zoolander. Beginning with my likes. First of all, as I mentioned before, this movie is just infinitely quotable. When I told a friend at work that I was going to be watching Zoolander for my movie club, he responded by quoting me lines from the film, and I quoted them right back to him. But why is it so quotable? My theory is that it is very silly without being idiotic. Ben Stiller was able to find this weird equilibrium between humor that is so dumb, yet somehow memorable. Because don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stupid films out there with just awful, dumb comedy that no one remembers. Nobody remembers. For whatever reason, Zoolander was able to pull it off. My wife would also like me to make special mention of David Duchovny, who stars as a hand model who's not so handsome in the face region. But she calls him Foxy Mulder. There you go, honey. I like that Will Ferrell was able to just be Will Ferrell and go friggin' nuts with Mugatu. The phrase, "I feel like I'm taking crazy pills," is still in my vocabulary to this day. But perhaps the best part of the film, besides being infinitely quotable, is the relationship between Derek Zoolander and Hansel. There isn't an unfunny scene with those two in the entire movie. I guess my only real gripe with the film, and this is being really nitpicky, is that the film is frequently funny, but rarely hilarious. It's relatable across the board. Anyone can find something funny with this film. However, it's not a laugh a minute. It feels like a 90s comedy, which is fine with me. I grew up with 90s comedies. I like them. And it has so much talent from the 90s in the film. But man, maybe if they hadn't aired it so much on VH1 for the last decade, it wouldn't feel like such a pair of comfortable old shoes, which is to say, familiar. Zoolander gets a B+. That's all for this week, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked anything I was rambling on about, please leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, share if you really liked it. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, as well as like my Facebook page. I would really appreciate having some more likes on there. If you didn't know, I do these reviews mostly for SourceFed Nerds Movie Club, which airs every Saturday on their channel. Check it out. Sometimes I get featured, sometimes I don't. It's a lot of fun either way. That said, thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.